leadership and entrepreneurial excellence. He has served as being the chairman of TiE Global and has also founded 5 high-technology startups, each achieving remarkable success. And as a distinguished alumni of IIT Delhi and Market University, he has also produced not only 1, but 5 award-winning films, owned successful business, and inspired countless audience as a motivational speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a true visionary and leader, Mr. Ashok Rao, to share his insights on us. So ladies and gentlemen, please give me a warm round of applause as we welcome Mr. Ashok Rao on stage.
Good morning, everyone.
I know.
Sorry, I was late walking out. I didn't know I had been introduced. It is great to be back at TiE after this long gap. You all are in for a treat for the next 45 minutes. You're going to meet 3 amazing founders from 3 really astonishingly good companies. If I were a betting man, and I am, I would bet the farm, and I have, on the success of these 3 companies. But before we get started, a little show of hands. How many in this audience are entrepreneurs? Quick show of hands. That's pretty good. How many would like to be entrepreneurs? Also pretty good show of hands. Now the most important question, how many can spell entrepreneur? Well, 40 years ago, when I was starting my entrepreneurial journey, this word didn't exist in our lexicon. Today, everybody uses it. You know it's gone mainstream when even Indian politicians use it, and they don't even know what it means. Major universities have entire departments devoted to entrepreneurship. Rice University in Houston, Texas is one. Another show of hands. How many people here know what or who Rice University is? That's the story. They're not as famous as MIT, Stanford, Harvard, Yale, but they should be. Their engineering and their business schools consistently rank in the top 10 of the country. And their MBA entrepreneurial program has been ranked #1 for the last 5 years. Even a lesser known fact is that Rice University runs the world's richest business plan competition for university startups. Over 1,000 companies globally, university startup companies, apply and are vetted for 42 spots at the Houston in-person finals every year. And then they compete for over $2 million in prizes. But how did we get to this point here and now? And that is because of 3 events. I call it the 3 nexus points in the time-space continuum, to steal a line from the professor from Back to the Future. The first, about 15 years ago, I was invited to join a group of super angels called GOOSE. Now, what does GOOSE stand for? It's a very humble, self-deprecating acronym. Shall we try? It stands for Grand Order of Successful Entrepreneurs. Not so humble. That was just a joke. They're mainly consisting of people who I call hale, pale, male, and stale, meaning rich, white, old guys. I'm the only one in that group that's only hale, male, and stale, not pale, as you can see. Luckily for us, in the last few years, 2 very successful women have joined our group. We invest in early stage startups and mentor them as much as we can. The second nexus point was around 2008. I was honored to join the board of Rice's Business School, its Council of Advisors. As a result, I got involved in the Rice Business Plan competition. To my utter dismay, I would find in the early years that teams from India, that the teams from India would be hopelessly uncompetitive in this competition, usually finishing last. Till nexus point number 3, when in late 2010, I was elected chairman of TiE Global. Show of hands, how many of you knew that? Not many. There again. But anyway, as a result of having a leg in both camps, I was able to cut a deal with the president of the Rice Business Plan competition, Mr. Brad Burke, where I was awarded 2 automatic entries, or we call them the TiE Rice Golden Ticket. And we ran global competitions because of our network and selected teams from Asia and from Europe. So the 3 teams you're going to meet today are all as a result of the TiE Rice Golden Ticket. First up, I have to go back to one little vignette. So once this was established, my sole goal was that my teams don't finish last. So for that purpose, we started coaching boot camps and a lot of training so that these teams were able to compete in English, not their mother tongue, whether they're from Europe or from India, against teams like MIT, Stanford, Harvard, et al. Well, mission accomplished, I would say. In 2011 itself, our team didn't finish last. In 2013, a team from Hong Kong came into the semifinals. And in 2017, my team from Germany made it all the way to the finals. And in 2022, we won the whole thing. First international team ever to win the Rice Business Plan comp. It's a big deal if you're aware of this thing, because the winner walked away with $5.5 million. You're about to meet his founder. But first, let's start with the 2018 winner, Mr. Ujjwal Agarwal, a genius inventor from Brits Pilani, up the road here in Hyderabad. He has invented this just amazing machine. It's probably the most amazing piece of engineering I've seen in my 50 years of business, that climbs skyscrapers and cleans windows. In 2018, he made it all the way to the finals of the Rice Business Plan competition and walked away with $2 million of the Goose investment prize. His feet are firmly planted in India, but he intends to take over the world one dirty skyscraper at a time. Next, let's meet Dr. Robert Brüll. Excuse me, my mistake. Ujjwal, would you tell us about this astonishing piece of engineering that you have developed? Louder.
I don't think I'm audible.
Sound check, please, Maestro.
Good. Okay. Thank you for your kind words, Mr. Rao. Yes, I'm building WCB Robotics, and as you see, we are making robots for cleaning high-rise buildings. Right now, these buildings are cleaned by humans. They hang hundreds of feet above the ground, use the same old sponge and squeegee to clean the glass. This ELMO, which stands for Extremely Lightweight Mobile Operator, is a small robot, very easy to move around. You can move it from one building to another, and it can clean your building. It has the water, the battery, and even the soap, all contained in this single tiny unit. And this robot sticks to the glass using a very strong suction. You could say our technology really sucks. Jokes aside, everybody from our investors to our partners to our prospective clients believes that this tiny package makes it easy to revolutionize the entire facade cleaning industry. And we'll be climbing our way to success, use one dirty skyscraper at a time. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can see it in hall number 2 just as you walk in the doorway. Next up, another genius inventor from Germany, Dr. Robert Brüll from RWTH University in Germany, sometimes referred to as the MIT of Europe. Robert got his PhD in materials. Come on up, Robert. And as a result, a German government grant enabled him to create fiber coat. Another game-changing technology that's going to take over the world, in my opinion. He competed in the 2021 competition when everything was virtual. And then since then, he's navigated fiber coat through several crises: COVID, the Ukraine war, supply chain problems, and now the Israel war. And get this, in 3 years, they're already profitable. Round of applause for that, please. How many entrepreneurs do you know that can do that? Robert, tell us a little bit about fiber coat.
Thank you, Ashok. Hello? Thank you, Ashok. At fiber coat,
Cue the video, maestro.
we make high-performance materials affordable. Our beachhead product, an aluminum-coated glass fiber, is very strong, highly conductive, fully recyclable, and costs a fraction of any other solution out in the market. It's used by our customers in the automotive industry, in construction and defense, and even in space to shield different areas of those applications. Right now, we're scaling our business globally, and you could say we're spinning our way to success.
That's for sure. And finally, we meet the man who set the record at the TiE Business Plan Competition, Mr. Alexander Igelmann. Come on up, Alex. Alex is a graduate of yet one of those amazing technical universities from Germany, this time out of Bochum. And combining superb presentation skills with their amazing technology, they won it all in 2022. This is an astonishing device that enables companies to cut microchip wafers like no one has ever done before, and he'll tell you. I think I just lost, okay, it came back. And his experience at PIMCO and Goldman Sachs gives him the required ability to navigate this company into that trillion-dollar semiconductor industry. Alex, tell us a little bit about that remarkable stuff you're doing.
Test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Doesn't work.
Cue the video too, please, as well as the sound.
Let's test the mic. 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me?
You're live.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashok, and great to be here. We are building machines for the semiconductor industry to cut microchips. And you can see what's happening here in this animation. So microchips are produced on pizza-sized plates called wafers. And there are hundreds of thousands on such a wafer. And it's very complicated, takes a long time, and it costs a lot of money to produce these wafers. And one of the last steps before the chips can be used in your digital products is the cutting or the singulation of each chip out of this pizza. And right now, up to 10% of chips are damaged in that cutting process. And with our technology, this is reduced to 0 because we not only use a laser that cuts the chips, but we also have a liquid cooling and a flow that goes over the wafer. And with that, we achieve much better results and can help to save costs and increase productivities for the big semiconductor companies such as Intel.
Yeah, what these humble guys haven't mentioned is between the three of them, they have about 20 patents. So all of their technology is well protected with very strong global patents. All right, so all I can tell you is that these three companies, I call them my three musketeers, make TiE proud from what they have done. Yeah, that's all right. Give them a round. You can do that. You know, I feel very privileged that I and my colleagues at TiE, Goose, and Rice have not only provided financial backing, but have been there for mentoring and support during pivotal moments. And as their principal investor, I'm very excited about the future of not just the three companies, but of the three remarkable young men you see in front of you. So let's get to business, folks, okay, will we? And by the way, can you hear them all when they're on their mic? Is it clear? Good, because it's important to hear what they're saying. They're far more important to listen to than me, trust me. So let's start. Ujjwal, when you first got involved with the Rice Golden Ticket till now, you've gone through quite a transformation, I would think. Talk to us about it.
When I first met you, Mr. Rao, during my college days, I was just another college kid running around with this somewhat working, not so reliable project and meeting people, but not exactly an entrepreneur. And Elmo then was very simple. Elmo, right now you can see it has a cleaning system and everything. That place was a hole. So I would say, okay, in this hole, we'll have a cleaning system. It did not have any pumps. It did not have the dual suction cup and all those safety systems that it now has. The suction cup that it did have was one generation prior, and it had half as many wheels. So lots of changes and lots of improvements have gone in, and since then, this has become a robot that can actually do the job. And not just the robot, I have also gone through a huge transformation. Back then, I was not very good at communicating value. So you taught me how to communicate value, talk to investors, talk to clients, and put my points forward, how to keep everything positive, lots of small things. In fact, this whole transformation did not happen in a single day. It happened slowly. I remember one instance where Mr. Ashok taught me a very small thing that I use every day nowadays. So this happened when we were in a typical Indian traffic deadlock. And Mr. Rao said that in times of a conflict, if you have a humble expression, that's better than an aggressive expression. And he asked me to try it out then and there. So I just smiled to the guy who was blocking us. And that was very different from my typical aggressive honking behavior. And before I could say thank you, we were on our way. So such small things have got me from the kid I was to the entrepreneur I am. And I think I continue to learn so much from you every day.
Well, you're giving me way too much credit because this is a remarkable young genius that I'm betting the farm on. Another genius that I'm betting the farm on. Robert, would you also talk about your transformation since the Rice Golden Ticket days?
Yes, I fully agree. It was transformative. I recall our very first pitch in the rice feeder competition in Europe that you ran. It was very technical. It was a presentation crafted by engineers for an audience of engineers. But in order to be successful, we needed to have a presentation that works with customers, with investors, and also with people that are not familiar with our field. So through the extensive coaching of you, as well as the other coaches from TiE, we managed to mold the concept of fiber code into a framework that works in all of those situations and that still guides us today.
Great. And Alex, I mean, you didn't need much. You won the whole thing. So what did you learn?
Yeah, I like the honking story from Ujjwal. I can tell first time in India, and there is a lot more honking going on here than in Germany. So maybe some other people need your coaching on that. But yeah, speaking about coaching, when we first met about 3 years ago, we were a group of 4 co-founders that just tried to build something, and now we developed into a group of professional entrepreneurs. We've raised 6 million since we met you, also with your help, and we're now about to raise another 10 to 12 million in the next few months. So quite a success story, I would say, also thanks to your help in the mentoring.
Well, all 3. Keep your eye out for them. Well, during this journey from TiE before the competition, what were the key lessons you learned from the boot camp itself and the competition at Rice itself? And let's start with you again, Ujjwal.
The boot camp for me was transformational. I distinctly remember I had sent my pitch and it got rejected for the TiE Golden Ticket program. This was the program that would lead us to the final RBPC. And it got rejected there. And it was you, Mr. Ashok, that did that final video call, let's check these guys out. And in that video call, you realized that even though our pitch was trash, we had good content and WCB Robotics had potential. But obviously, we had to fix the communication. So once we got to the boot camp, you and the other TiE mentors, they basically tore through our slides and built a startup pitch deck from the ruins. And that startup pitch deck, we have used it to this day. We learned a lot from you guys, like small things, how to communicate to these Americans. How do you spec things right for the culture and the language differences? And I don't think we would have made it to the semi-finals, let alone the finals and then the Goose Prize, if it hadn't been for your excellent coaching and the excellent coaching of all the TiE mentors. So I'd like to thank TiE and you, Ashok, for not just giving us this opportunity, but mentoring us through it.
Well, I think the TiE folks would like to thank you for being part of us. All right, Robert. You went through a little different process because yours was during COVID. So tell us about your virtual experience.
Exactly. We were hit by those travel restrictions, so we were not able to fly to the US to experience this whole coaching on site. It was all virtual. Even the competition itself was virtual. And you have to imagine we need to discuss, fundraise, explain, and create a story around a physical product that nobody's able to touch. By the way, you all can touch it at our booth in Hall 2 in the entrance. Come by. But at that time, nobody could touch it. So we worked extensively on our storytelling, on our delivery. I recall that we worked on the pronunciation of every word. English is a second language for us. So, for example, my co-founder, you taught him how to say the word meteorite. Meteorite was transformative for him. And on top of that, we also worked on the whole Q&A session, because a big part of convincing the RISE jury is also to respond to their questions. In order to do that, you need to understand the underlying intent, you need to hone your responses. And all of this was the foundation for our subsequent fundraise of $5 million that was led by Goose, where we got 5 wonderful investors, and even now subsequently invested into our Series B again, just showing that you can build great relationships virtually too.
Yeah, well, a wonderful story. And I sincerely to this day believe that if it had been in person, you would have beaten Alex to be the first international team to have ever won it. But anyway, that's history, that's COVID. Alex, the winner. Tell us about your experience.
Well, first of all, I hope Robert also feels like a winner because he was one of our coaches, so it wouldn't have been possible without him. But generally, I would say this most striking point that you can still see what we learned is presenting. And we still use a similar deck to 2.5 years ago that we built for RISE now, and it still works. And a lot of work went into it because, as you like to say, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. So for us, that meant every Friday night in Germany, we sat down and we had a call with 10 different mentors from TiE. You can imagine we wanted to do other things on Friday nights, but you have to do whatever it takes, so we did it. There was also a personal boot camp where you coached us big time, and my co-founder Alex, with whom I went to RISE, he morphed into a superstar on stage because of the training, and we still benefit from it now. And not only that, this whatever it takes mindset, we also use it now when we hire people, because that's what it takes to become an entrepreneur. And so thank you for all the coaching to you and also to the whole TiE Houston team at the time, and also for the sponsoring, because we got our flights paid by TiE. So yeah, TiE basically sparked our journey, and so far quite a successful journey. So thank you.
Yes. Well, I would add that all 3 companies here exhibit that whatever it takes attitude. Yeah. So kudos. Well, you particularly have been growing at some crazy pace. You both are pre-revenue, but I think the growth will be extraordinary as soon as you get the products on the market. So Ujjwal, let us know about the most significant challenges and what milestones you're most proud of.
I think for us, the most significant challenge was the product. When we got the funding, we just had a bare bones setup, a robot that just did the climbing. Wasn't very good at it either, but it did the climbing. And from there, we had this picture painted to all our investors that we'll have this robot that can climb the glass facade. It will be very easy to use. It will do the cleaning. The cleaning will be as good as humans. So all these promises, all this picture that we had painted, we had to bring that into the real life. We had to have a robot that does that. And that's there. So that's also one of my most significant challenges, me and my team. We have worked tirelessly to make everything come together, and we now have a robot that is so lightweight, I can just bring it out, move it around, and yet it contains everything you need to clean your building to the same quality as a human would. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Yes, it is most remarkable piece of engineering, probably the most remarkable piece of engineering I've seen in my 50 years of business. Robert, your turn.
As you know, fiber code is a child of crisis. We were founded during COVID. We experienced the supply chain issues that followed COVID. We got struck hard by the increasing energy costs due to the war in Ukraine and in Europe overall. And we were even affected by the war in Israel. So all of this led to us working on our resilience and being very agile. We even came close to running out of cash in those times. But I would say the biggest achievement of this year was that we managed to build our full own lines. In the past, we always just made the coating. Nowadays, we built a whole fiber spinning line with integrated coating and everything that goes with it as a single stop that enables us to build those lines in Germany and ship them across the globe to establish this critical material supply locally for our customers.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I can attest to it. I've watched him do it. And Alex?
Yeah, well, I was going to say something else, and I'll say it, but hearing what Robert says, all of these problems I already forgot about that we also had. But I think that's part of the journey. You always think that the current challenge is the biggest challenge. For us, it was the recent organizational restructuring, because 5 years ago we started with 4 co-founders, all equal, and now we're going to restructure that to a different hierarchy, which of course is not easy, but we'll manage, and we'll continue our success story because we already made some great milestones, particularly building this pilot machine that we can now showcase to customers, and it's technologically way better than the competitors. It cuts twice as fast, more precise, with higher quality, so we really do solve a problem for these billion-dollar semiconductor companies, and that makes me really proud. And we're planning to make our first revenue with the machine in the next year.
And I know they will, but you know, when he talks about pilot machine, one might think of something that size. These are $3 million machines. These are some piece of engineering. So you only have to sell a few to become a unicorn. Okay, so let's talk about funding and investor relations. And I'll direct it first at Robert because you're furthest along and you're the only one that came close a couple of times. So talk to us about that process. These two have been sitting on the cash they have raised from the outset. So you've had to navigate some troubled waters and you've done it brilliantly, but you tell us about it.
Yes, I mentioned we had this crisis, and especially the war in Ukraine was really hard for us because we were at that time already manufacturing in a 10-ton scale in Germany, and we suddenly had to move all of this out of Germany to the country of Georgia because of the soaring energy costs. And the business plan was not structured around Putin, so we didn't know. Cash became tight. I think as a founder and CEO, it's very, very important to be the calm in the eye of the storm during that period. You have to keep the team aligned and on track to reach your targets while also working together with investors to craft a way out of the situation. We were very fortunate to get a capital injection from our investors because Goose and you, Ashok, had our back at the time. And this put us back on track. We were able to scale the production, we were able to meet our customer demand, and I would say that it taught us how to be frugal and how to work with minimal expenditure to test assumptions. I think in India you call this jugaad. So I would say jugaad is key for entrepreneurship.
Who could have thought we have a Punjabi German with? Anyway, I'll skip the two of you because you guys didn't run out of money. You're still sitting on nice pools of cash. You're both going to raise 10 million apiece in the next couple of months. So let's get to looking 5 years ahead. What are the developments and innovations that you are working on? Ujjwal, let's start with you.
So Elmo right now also has a lot of innovations, and in general, I believe we have built something that's close to a platform technology. We have mastered the art of moving on vertical surfaces, and we have built that suction that sticks that hard. We have built the whole stabilization systems. We have built traction control that works very well on these vertical surfaces. And I think I can leverage this into other opportunities too. So one of them being wall painting. You could be sitting in your home and a robot is painting the walls. And a robot is painting the walls. You could have a robot doing the exterior painting of buildings, where right now you have to put up a huge amount of scaffolding and you have to risk laborers and their lives. All that can be gone, and it could be a much more streamlined process. And obviously, we want to improve the facade cleaning robot year on year and launch a new robot every year with more modified and better functionality. So the next 3 to 5 years, I think, are going to be very interesting.
Okay, Robert, you know, your outfit, including you, are crawling with PhDs. You know, there's more PhDs over there than I've seen in universities. So what is it, the stuff you geniuses are working on?
So we found our product market with the aluminum-coated glass fibers, and we're building on that. We're scaling that. But at the same time, we're working on new coatings to coat the fibers with nickel, with gold, with silver, to have different core fibers that we can coat, or even coat with plastics. Our target is to have a broad portfolio of material offerings for our customers, to really be the company that offers the basic building blocks of a sustainable industry and future. This is the vision of FiberCode, and this is what we're going to achieve.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And Alex, you know, again, crawling with PhDs in your outfit. Germans, you know, when you say German, you think PhD, I guess. Tell us what you're doing for the next 5 years.
Right now, we're putting all our efforts into the cutting of microchips into the semiconductor industry. We're laser focused on that, pun intended. But the technology really is a platform technology. And going forward, we can do different things. For example, we could cut the displays of your smartphones so you'll never break again. We could cut coronary stents for the medical industry. And if you think big, we could even modify the surface of airplanes to make them more aerodynamic, because this laser technology has a lot of different application fields. And I know that our engineers are eager to go into these different areas because it's super interesting to research them. And I have the sad job to hold them back for now, to focus on the semiconductor space. But yeah, once we're profitable in that space, I'm sure we're going to go into different areas as well.
Yeah, I believe you, knowing your team. But anyway, let's get some specifics to each of you. Let's start with you, Ujjwal. WCB Robotics, now that you've completed your prototype, what's the biggest hurdle for you in reaching your goal of $50 million in 3 years?
Elmo is a product that sells itself. So I'm not that worried about the sales process. We have had a huge amount of interest from clients. Even with the basic website, we get a lot of clicks, a lot of people who contact us. They get demos, and they are always very impressed with the demos. The main problem is that once we start selling it, we'll be selling it globally, and we need to support these clients. We need to give them a good service experience, and we need to make it an overall nice experience. So we are talking with a lot of distributors, and we are building a network so that once we launch it, we can provide a good experience worldwide.
That's very important. And as you prepare for your $10 million Series A, what are you looking for in your investors?
I want more investors like Goose. Goose Society was an excellent investor, very patient, very passionate, and you and all the investors that we have had, we were so fortunate to have you guys. And I want more strategic investors, more soft capital, people who have connections like Goose had, people who are maybe associated with the facility management industry, or maybe associated with more window cleaning companies, or maybe they are in a parallel industry, so they can eventually become somebody who acquires WCB Robotics. That's the kind of investor crowd I'm looking at for.
Amen. Hallelujah, brother. All right, Robert. 10 million in revenues, 25 million raised, profits are green, not red. How have you managed this growth? And what are the obstacles and challenges?
What we did is we thought about disrupting the material science business by incorporating ideas and knowledge from many other industries, including even things like software engineering, which are really far away, and bring them all together into our own in-house developments. This enabled us to work with existing machinery and to scale very fast on those machines that are already out there in the market, and to reach a ton-scale production much, much quicker than our peers in our industry would. Now we are building our own lines on top of that. So we're building whole fiber spinning capacities that we ship out and scale across the globe. So I would say that I'm very proud that this team managed to build a disruptive product, build their own lines, and stay profitable throughout the day. Reaching profitability was I would say, the biggest outcome that we achieved.
Okay. You know, this audience would be very interested to know one thing. One of your key customers is India. Tell us about your plans, who these customers are, and how you're going to make them, and where you're going to make them.
I can't. That's secret.
He's a jokester.
I'm joking. Our fibers are actually used by the Indian Navy and Air Force as chaff. For those of you who don't know what chaff is, it's a countermeasure that you might have seen in the movie Top Gun, Maverick, where a missile approaches the plane, they shoot out those flares. It's like those big glowing red balls, and they deflect infrared guided missiles. Now, nowadays, many missiles are radar-based because it's more precise. In order to deflect those, our fibers are chopped down and shot out of the back of the plane, creating a big cloud of antennas that create a much bigger target for the missile than the airplane, deflecting it, keeping the airplane safe to move away. Currently, we produce all of that in the country of Georgia, but we are planning to move this production for India to India in order to be able to supply this critical material and countermeasure locally.
Okay, but all of you, remember, it's a secret. Yes, applause, please. Alex, your pre-revenue, high potential. What makes you so uniquely positioned to become a unicorn?
So I think the fact that we completely reduce tech risk now. We have this machine that's basically ready to be sold because it has stronger performance than our competitors, being faster, cutting more precise, with high quality, and really saving costs and solving a problem for our customers. What's still missing is the time. We have not been around for long, so there is a certain lack of confidence in a startup being able to provide these billion-dollar gorilla companies. But we will have the time with a new investment, so we're working on the trust and on making sure that we'll stick around until everyone believes that we can do it. And we're planning the first revenues next year, so that should be the final risk reduction in our company. And fingers crossed that we'll achieve it.
Yeah, as they say, it takes a while for a unicorn to leave the stable, doesn't it?
I agree.
All right, so final question to you before we get into a fun ending round, because I think the time is running out. You've almost finished raising your Series B, or whatever we want to call it, $10 million to $12 million round. What gives these institutions, you being pre-revenue, including Goose, moi aussi, the confidence to continue to back you?
Yeah, I think one is the reduction of the technology risk. So the machine is there. Clients can come and we can cut wafers for them and they can see the results. So the machine is working. And then secondly, this is the last chance to invest in our company pre-revenue. So if I was an investor, I would take that gamble because once we have revenues, of course, the valuation is going to increase. So thank you for that. And I think with regards to the investors that have already invested and now continue to invest, is maybe the fact that we have these monthly investor calls where we're extremely transparent. We, of course, tell everyone about our successes, but we're also very open if we are delayed or have a problem. And I wish to believe that this creates the trust, and we see that now with the commitment of the existing investors who actually want to increase their stake and not just do pro rata. So I guess it's a mix of all of this, and a good deal, I guess, at this stage.
I would agree, 100%. Okay, so let's end with a fun round of word association. All right, you guys ready? I'll give you 2 words, and you got to pick one of them. So let's start with IPO or acquisition.
Acquisition.
IPO.
You can never get a bunch of geniuses to agree on anything. So, okay, from now on, I'm going to direct the questions individually at you all right? So, Robert, growth or profitability?
Growth. We are already profitable.
Duh. Okay. Alex, disrupt or innovate?
Innovate, because with innovation comes disruption.
Ujjwal, first mover or fast follower?
First mover. If you are first to the market and you have the right product, you are going to eat the whole pie.
How do you stay so skinny after eating the whole pie? Alex, technology or team?
Team any day of the week, because it doesn't matter what you build, it matters with whom you build it.
Yeah, to this ex-rugby player, speed or perfection?
Speed. If I wanted perfection, I'd still be at the university.
Okay, Ujjwal, data-driven or gut feeling?
Gut feeling is my way to go, specifically when you're launching something new and nothing like that has existed. That's the only way to go.
Alex, diversification or focus?
Oh, easy one for me. Focus, focus, laser focus.
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
All right, and finally, Ujjwal, investors or customers?
I'd add a third leg to the stool, employees. All of them are important.
Bingo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's 6 seconds to go here according to this clock, so let's give these 3 geniuses a big hand. Thank you all for being here. I hope you could hear most of it. You can see all 3 of them in Hall 2 as you enter the door. They're on your left in a temporary, good-looking booth. Thank you all for being here. It was my pleasure, my honor to be here in front of you all. Great to be back at TiE. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, here, guys. Right next to the 2 tallest guys. The long and short of it all. Thank you once again, everyone.